Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Francesca. This week I was just on the streets of the gram, I was just scrolling along, going through Instagram and Facebook. And then something caught my attention actually. Was a picture of a perfect mom, all the many things, how she's well put together, raising her children, doing amazing things in career, like everything. She is just the epitome of a perfect picture. And I was like, okay, okay. And then I just started to wonder in my mind, achieving perfection in motherhood, is it really possible? So today we're continuing our motherhood series. Last year we did a bit of motherhood series, we touched on children and all. This year 2026, after putting things in place, we've talked about goals, we've talked about the things that we want to have in place. Check. We've talked about how you want to make sure that your goals are achieved. Now we're just going to jump right into our series for 2026. So first thing we're looking at is the motherhood series again. And I'm thinking to myself that beyond the glitz and glamour, okay, when you see the perfect picture of a mom on Instagram, on Facebook, social media is a place where everything looks all put together. You're wondering, and you're looking at yourself and you're wondering to yourself that how is it how is it that some people have all this all going and me, I'm just everywhere? I was having a recent chat with a friend of mine and she was like, Francesca, how is it that you have everything all put together and it looks as if, you are just so put together, you are the mom, you are the church girl, you are the career person and all that. And you still try to make time for family and I told that girl, listen, don't let anything deceive you. Do I have it all put together? I actually don't. Okay? All of us were just personally, I'm just striving to get to where I need to get to. I'm just doing the best that I can, putting it one block at a time. I'm not overwhelming myself with society's expectation of what a perfect mom should look like. So today we're going to be looking at being perfect versus being a present mom. So we want to look at the downsides. We want to look at what does it take to actually be a present mom. So beyond trying to get to perfection, you know how you're just pressured to be that perfect mother. You're pressured to tick all the boxes, imaginary boxes, if I would say, boxes that really, how many people can actually get some of these things done in as little time as they make it look, So we're going to be diving into all of that, and we're going to be I will be providing, some steps, some things that you can actually put in place to help you get to where you need to get to. At the end of the day, like I would always say, progress is when you take one step forward every time. So you don't have to take 10 steps to get to where you need to get to. As long as you're taking one step at a time and moving towards your goal, then you're making progress. So don't let anybody pressure you to get, to get some things done. Just stick with the plan that you have. Stay on top of it. Put one step forward at every time, and my God, you'll be amazed at the kind of progress that you would achieve. Okay, so let's talk about the video that I saw. So the woman is all put together, her life seemingly appears perfect. And I'm saying to myself that perfection, is it just about the glitz, the put togetherness that we see on the streets of the gram or Facebook, on pages of social media? You see everybody and everybody looks like they're well put together. So what does that do to a mom? Okay, and I'm speaking to moms specifically because I'm a mom, like, to 3 amazing children. So at the end of the day, what I'm talking about is also what I'm trying to put into practice in my daily life. So I'm looking at what exactly do I need to be doing at every time. Do I need to put myself under pressure? Am I going to be pressuring myself to get to where I need to get to? No. In fact, I was reading an article. I think it's Ohio State University. I think their nursing program. They actually talked about interviewing. They did a survey, kind of like a survey, an interview of parents. Okay, and they measured out the pressure to be perfect, to be a perfect parents actually causes intense stress, you know, brings them to a level where they consider their stress unmanageable. And then I'm telling myself that, do I want to get to that level? Is that what you want to do? Do you want to get to the level where your stress becomes unmanageable because you are striving towards perfection? At the end of the day, I'm not sure if scripture calls us to be perfect, you know, in that area. Yes, be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. Be ye holy, rather. Be ye holy, even as your Father in heaven is holy, right? So you're looking at holiness from the perspective of this is God that we're talking about, right? But as parents, okay, is it achievable when you have other competing priorities? Are you able to stay on top of every single thing at every single time? You know what I mean? You're there, you're doing the homework, you're there, you're making the homemade meals, you're there, you're making sure that in terms of health, you're checking the box, you're there in terms of your career, you're an overachiever, you know, you're just doing exceptionally well. Is it really something that we can do as mothers? Okay, is that something we can really do? I want to prioritize presence for myself. I want to make sure that my kids see me. Beyond striving towards perfection, I want to make sure that I am that present mom. I want to make sure that they have something that they have to do or prepare for. I'm available to help them prepare. I think that's the goal that we should strive to achieve as moms, as parents in general, you know, being there, being present, making sure that at the end of the day, when they look behind them, their mom is there, their dad is there, there's somebody present. So I would pick being present beyond being perfect. Okay, some of the downsides, like I said, towards trying to get yourself towards perfection is, you know, the stress, the anxiety. You miss the moments. You miss the moments that you should treasure because you're looking at being perfect rather than being present. It's okay to have a messy house. It's actually okay, especially when you're raising toddlers, you're raising kids. It's okay to have a messy house. In fact, I was having a chat with my cousin earlier today, and I was talking about, oh, how, you know, I like this kind of car, I like that kind of car. We're just basically talking about, you know, automobiles and talking about the kind of cars and all that. And then I said, my husband will always say, since you have young children, you don't want to buy this kind of exotic car yet because, you know, it will be messy. They will spill things all around and then you have to clean and all that. And you know, my cousin just said kids will be kids. It doesn't matter what you buy. They will spill things around. Just let them be children, okay? Let them be children. They are kids. So let them be kids. Don't miss major moments in their life because you're trying to get them to be, you're trying to be the perfect mom and then you're imposing. You know how you reflect what you want to be on your children because you want to be perfect. So you're making them, don't make a mess. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. In fact, do you know that 57% of those parents from the Ohio State University nursing program actually reported extreme burnout? You know, extreme burnout. And why? Why? Because of the internal pressure. Sometimes external too, but sometimes they have that internal pressure, external pressures too, to strive to be perfect. Okay? So let's talk about influences shaping the idea of perfection, being a perfect mom, being a perfect dad, being a perfect parent, you know, specifically being a perfect mom. Social media. I told you how this became a thing for me, and I thought that this is something that we should actually talk about, you know, why this should be a conversation to have. The streets of the gram, Instagram. In fact, if you're not somebody that can manage yourself, manage your emotions, you go on the streets of Instagram, you come out, you are confused, you look at yourself and you beat yourself up and say you're not good enough or you're not trying. You know, major stressors for humans, major stressors for moms especially, striving to get to that, you know, tall order of perfection. Social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it's called. Then generational expectations, you know, how you have that expectations. People have expectations of you. Oh, this is who you are. This is what you should be doing. I recall after grad school and We're all putting ideas together. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to be, or whatever I want to be. You know, when you start practicing law, this is exactly what you want to do. This is an angle that you want to start. And then over time, we get married, start raising a family. And some of these things take a back shift. You know, they just go to the back burner. Because now there are other things that are important. Somebody said something, and I always remember it. At the end of the day, when you're old, frail, you're not thinking about the many deals that you closed at work. You're not thinking about any of those things. You're not thinking about your achievements. You're not thinking about the successes that you had in all those areas. You're thinking about the moments that you shared with the people that you really love and that love you in return. You know, I was reading Miles Monroe's book yesterday, and it was talking about purpose, you know, and one of the things he talked about is that after going around, you know, clicking and checking all the boxes, supposed boxes anyway, some of the boxes that we create for ourselves and burden ourselves with. And then you look at yourself and you feel a vacuum, you know, because there are some things that you haven't done or made time for, you know. So at the end of the day, you want to reflect and think and look at your life and say, yes, for my family, I was present. I was present. I was there. When my daughter needed me, I was there. When my son needed me, I was there. When they needed to do stuff that mommy could only do. You know, there are some things that only moms can do, right? So, yes, that you were there. So those are the things that they want to check. So then another thing that influences this idea of perfection is the comparison culture. You see your colleague or your friend or your classmates or your co-worker or your church member, somebody, and you see their children all put together, and you're looking and you're saying, why are you not like this? Why are you not like that? Hello? Yes, you. Hello, 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 hello. Can we please calm down? Can you just focus on your race and your journey? Can you just make sure that you are doing the best you can to raise your own child? Do not compare. And while it is very easy for me to say this, I know that at some point we all get dragged into the comparison line, especially when other kids are doing exceptionally well in school and yours is not doing. And mind you, I'm not saying that good examples cannot be used, okay? When you talk to your children or when you're trying to raise them, absolutely. You want to use excellent examples. You want to show them that, yes, if A can do this, you can as well. We're giving you all the tools that you need to be exceptional. You have it so you can be exceptional. It's good. You can use fantastic examples for your children. But what it shouldn't make you do is make you raise your child in the same way Mrs. A or Mr. A is raising their child. Stick to your gun, okay? You know what is best for your child. You know how you should raise that child. You know what you should be doing for that child. So do not let culture, comparison, society push you to be doing things that will not fit the life of your child. Have you not seen two children, the same households, the same parents, extremely different? Haven't you noticed? So the same soap that you used in washing A might not necessarily work well for B. The same parenting pattern that you used for A may not work for B. Your job as a parent is to figure out what parenting pattern will work for A or B and stick to it. Do not compare. Don't let comparison drive you to do stuff that will not work well for your children and your family. You know, last year I always talked about the fact that your family comes first. You come first, okay? Your focus should be on your family, not on any other person. Your family, okay? So do not strive to be perfect. Strive to be present. Just be present. So let's look at it, okay? Let's look at it. So when we talk about perfection, how do we even measure perfection? Is it by the glitz, the glamour? Is it by what we see on social media? Is it by what people say? Is it by what somebody tells you that they are doing in their home? Or how they say their parenting style is? Is that how you define perfection? Is that how you define that this person is actually doing excellently well? No, 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 no. One of the downsides to being perfect, okay? Striving to be a perfect mom, chronic stress. I mentioned that earlier. We have anxiety. We have, losing the joy of the moment. So you miss major things that you should be excited about. Like your child took the first step. Your child, yes, they took the first step and spilled water all over the floor and you're upset. Oh, your child is getting potty trained and you wake up and there is poo on the floor. They're trying. They're getting potty trained. Accidents are bound to happen. Do you freak out? Do you start, oh my God, my house is messy? Or you just say, okay, your potty is right here. This is what you should be doing. What are you doing? Are you modeling unrealistic standards for your children? And I said it before, when you project what you want to do, you project it on your child. Sometimes we even project our insecurities on our children, We project our insecurities on our children. We do want them, I don't know, to maybe mirror our lifestyle. So it's important that you take a back seat, Sometimes just breathe, Take it down. Just calm down. Look at it again and see. Okay? Then you notice that there is, when you strive towards perfection too much, there's that emotional disconnect, And somebody will always say, children never remember the spotless floors. They never remember how clean the house is. They never remember the kind of home they were raised in. Sometimes they will mention it as they grow up. Do you know what they always remember? How you made them feel. They always remember how mommy made me feel. They always remember your reaction. They always remember expression. The innuendos that we, in conversations, in what we do, in how we raise them. They remember those things. Not necessarily the spotless homes, the clean floors, the well-organized island, the well-organized dining table, the pillows that are all put together on the sofa. They don't necessarily remember that. They remember how you make them feel. You want to make sure that that feeling is a good one. You want to make sure that after you've left this earth, that your kids can remember you fondly and say, mommy was there. My parents are no more, but when I think, I always remember that they were very, very present. With the little means that they had, they showed up. They were there. They made sure that my siblings and I, we understood what presence meant. So, the present mom, who's she? We've talked around, I've talked a lot about the present mom. I've talked a lot about striving to be that present mom and not the perfect mom. So let's talk about what the present mom is. The present mom is the one that listens. The present mom is the one that will put down her phone and have conversation with her children. The present mom is the one that does not mind sitting on the floor, making a mess with her children, especially if they are toddlers, having that conversation with them. The present mom is that mom that will retain and maintain eye contact with her children, okay? The present mom is the one that tries to be emotionally regulated, but also okay to lose her cool and apologize for it. It's okay. Okay? Even when you're imperfect, you're able to show your children that this is what normalcy looks like. Mommy is not going to be all put together every day. She doesn't lose her cool. She doesn't yell. She doesn't do this. Sometimes mommy will yell. But mommy will apologize when mommy yells for no reason. Mommy will say sorry when the circumstance demands it. Okay? So let's talk about moving now from perfection to being present, okay? So you want to trade performance for connection. And this is what I mean. You want to trade, this is what I want to portray. This is how I want people to see me as a parent, okay? You want to change that to connection. You want to be able to have conversation with your children, meaningful, tangible conversation. It will interest you to know that no matter how young a child is, when you sit down and be at their level, you will be amazed at the things that they can share with you. And you will be amazed at how those things will change your perspective. Okay? So you want to trade performance, you want to trade performance for connection, you want to replace how does this look to how does this feel? Okay? You want to replace does this look nice to does this feel nice? Okay? You want to make sure that at the end of the day, your children can, you know how it is, be tangible. They can see it and say, this is how it is when I talk to mommy. She acknowledges my feelings. She acknowledges everything. She's present. She sees me. You want your children to know that you see them. And yes, there are some things that you may not be able to help your children manage. Okay? And it's okay. If there are some things that are beyond you that you can handle, and that's why we have therapists, people skilled in this area, it's okay to reach out to them. Okay? Simple habits that I want to recommend that you start practicing just to help you to foster that connection, to move you from being perfect to being present. So you want to try 10 minutes undistracted time with your child. Try it. 10 minutes. See what that looks like. You know, the other day I was playing, what is it, Seth? So there's these balls that I bought. They're like tennis balls. I bought them from the dollar store, and I was using it. We're throwing it, myself and my children, and you will be amazed. They were so excited. Oh my God, mommy, you missed. I won. We did this. We were even taking scores. And then we started something like tennis. We would go to the backyard. We had a very good weather last week. And over the weekend was fairly decent. So we could stay at the backyard, do some of those things. It was very exciting. It was amazing to watch them, you know, how happy they felt that you could come down to their level and play the games that matters to them, really. And then you want to have high and low daily conversations with your children. The bad sides, the great sides, the not so great sides, you know. You want to make sure that at the end of the day, you're asking them, how did school feel today? You know, who made you feel good? How did this do? How did that do? You want to have those conversations with them. You want to have that conversation with them. You also want to have some family rituals, something you do all the time. I've said it that in my house, we will try to have devotional together in the evenings. And don't think that this is a box that we check every evening. Some evenings we miss it, and it's okay. At the end of the day, you're not striving for perfection. You're just making sure that you're present and you're teaching your children what you want them to learn. You're living with them habits that will outlast you. That is very key. So let's address the guilt that we all feel. So you finish watching the gram and you're like, if somebody can do it, why can't I do it? If this person has it put together, why can't I have it put together? My dear, focus on yourself. Like I said, every journey, as long as you're taking one step forward, you're making progress. Okay? You don't have to take 50 steps to see yourself as making progress. As long as you're taking one step forward, you know, you're doing exceptionally well. Focus on that. Maintain that. Don't be too pushed. Don't let anybody pressure you to do what you can't do. Okay? You can't be present 24/7. You're a human being. You're not a robot. It's only robots that they can program to be somewhere 24/7. You can't. You can't. Okay? You also have a life. Okay? Children also need authenticity. Okay? Try. Make sure they feel authentic. Make sure they can be themselves in their own skin. Also, you're allowed to be human in front of your children. I say that a lot. You can cry in front of your children. There's no macho in front of your children. Something upsets you, puts you in a state where you become emotional and you want to cry. It's okay. It's okay. Don't let anybody make you feel that crying in front of your children is absurd. It is not. It is okay. You can. You should, by the way. Okay? Finally, perfect moms. Perfect moms are admired. We look at them on the gram and we're like, very nice. But you know, You know what present moms are? Present moms are remembered forever. I just shared with you the story of my parents, right? They are no more, but do I remember them? Absolutely, regularly, fondly, in fact. You want to be that parent. You want to be that mom that your child will remember fondly even after you are gone. Okay? So I leave with you this peace. Strive towards being present rather than being perfect. Okay? It's okay. Just be there for them. That's all they need. That's who they need you to be. The mom that is present rather than the mom that is perfect. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you haven't followed us, this is my cue to you to do so. Okay? If you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so. If you haven't added us to your Spotify or your Apple Podcast videos, please do well to add us, follow us on all our social media platforms. It's Conversations with Francesca, with your girl, Francesca. Hope you have an amazing and delightful rest of the day. Stay blessed. Take care. Bye.